These are folks' experiences that they're sharing and their points of view, and they're all valid and all part of the spectrum and all which makes it all so wonderful and diverse.
Hello, I'm Lily, and I am out of Brooklyn, New York.
My name is Cal, currently in San Francisco.
Well, my name is Kane, currently in Seattle, Washington.
I'm Jalen. I'm from Houston, Texas.
Pronouns are he or they.
I use they and she pronouns.
My pronouns are he, him.
I identify as trans non-binary.
And how I got here today is a very long story. How I got here to Seattle is I relocated for a job.
I'm teaching and writing.
I love tattooing because I get the chance to work with other trans people and make them feel comfortable.
I've been producing a Trans Lives Matter series, so that's been exciting.
I'm Tori Cooper, she, her pronouns, Director of Community Engagement for the Trans Justice Initiative at the Human Rights Campaign. Why are pronouns important?
Whether people are trans or not, we look around us to get these certain types of validation because it feels good. Just knowing that you see yourself in a way that makes sense and that other people see you in a way that makes sense. I think we all expect, regardless of our gender, that people are gendering us correctly, and it's only a trans issue because people only fail to do it.
I've never felt like, just on one end of the spectrum or just on another end of the spectrum. I kind of just flow in between them sometimes.
So for me, personally, they're not important for me because I identify as being the spirit inside the body. I'm not this body, I'm the spirit inside the body.
So will you tell us a little bit about the difference between lifestyle and gender identity and sexual preference?
Lifestyle, and I guess I should say lifestyle, what lifestyle means to me personally is how I choose to live my own life. It has nothing to do with anybody else. It has purely everything to do with the decisions I make within my lifestyle that make me happy.
A lifestyle to me might involve certain decisions you make about what you're going to wear, how you're going to act, or what you're actually going to do. Your identity is not a lifestyle. Your identity is an identity, right? And that's the same way that I might identify as a trans man. A person might, who was also assigned female at birth might be like, I'm a trans man too, but I don't have like the resources or the safety or the comfort to express myself as such. But you have no right, obviously, to tell someone else who they are.
If someone ever makes it up in their mind that they can misgender me or dead name me, nope. I want to talk a little bit about healthcare.
I'm thankful that there was a city that was a little bit more progressive where people understood why people are taking hormones. I went to Planned Parenthood and I only went because they allowed you to start and all they needed was your consent.
The biggest change I've noticed being on hormones has been my mental health and has been this my body feels more balanced. My hormones are regulated. I feel like myself. And so my brain feels good. Exactly. In a way that it never, ever has before.
When it comes to the just general healthcare of Black people in general, there's obviously layers to it. There's medical racism, and there's also these parts, the erasure of trans people. And I think by limiting our access, our resources, to these things that we need to survive and to live healthy, fulfilling lives, it's obviously intentional why, people that aren't Black will obviously get more resources and more access. It takes a lot, not only on our mental health, our physical, spiritual, mental, it encapsulates all of that. I just think it's really important, especially as Black folks, that we get more access to these resources immediately.
What is your experience with mental health?
Growing up in a Black family, my parents from the hood, like therapists, and then I come from the whole churchy. You know, our parents are pastors and, you know, all of that stuff. So, you know, Jesus will fix it. And Jesus wasn't fixing it, right? I've never been diagnosed with a mental illness or anything like that. But I will say that I have gone to the depths. And for me, it led me to getting on drugs really, really bad. I'm so glad that I have that to my disposal to be able to have therapists and stuff like that. So now I do therapy online. I do it through like a Zoom platform and everything like that. And that's been working for me.
So, Kane, we know that you've been on this journey for a while and that your mom is one of your biggest supporters.
Oh, my goodness. Well, my mom, you know, being raised Southern Baptist, you know, she had very conservative views. In fact, she'll still argue that she has. We were sitting in a car driving home from college, and she was like, why does your voice sound deeper? Like, what's going on with you? You got a cold? Like, what's happening? And I was like, hey, Mom, I'm trans. And it didn't end well. Essentially, what the conversation boiled down to was, you know, I thought I'd be, you know, if she wasn't going to accept me for who I was, then it was better for her to have a dead child. That had her stop and think during that time, and is now, you know, a big supporter, goes to a bunch of rallies, you know, is fighting for our community, is fighting legislation for our community.
Well, give her a big hug too,
I will.
Not just from yourself, but from all of us also.
To anyone who's watching this and is trans or gender nonconforming or non-binary in any capacity, like, y'all are awesome. Just want to acknowledge that it can feel really exhausting to try to basically navigate a world that hasn't created space for us.
The biggest lesson I've learned is that I was perfect and that you're perfect. That is the biggest lesson I have learned in this whole thing. Exercise your power of choice. Establish boundaries, clear boundaries with everyone, those you love, those that you like, those that you pretend to like.
I want you to know that you are trans enough, no matter where you are at in your self-discovery, in your transition. You don't need hormone replacement therapy to be trans enough. The only person who decides that is you.
Getting to talk to all of you and seeing how our stories are so intertwined, even though we come from such different demographics, from different places in the world, and have such different life experiences, but you can see the threads that kind of weave them all together.
For all folks who are not trans or folks who just have opportunities, I encourage you, implore you to be intentional about inclusion. Everyone's journey is their own, and you have your journey to go. People just need to understand cis describes a journey that is the same as. That's literally what cis means. With trans means that you took a different route. Very simple way to think about it.
What I hope that people take away from this conversation is just a little bit more information, is reasons why people should be fighting and should be advocating for trans individuals in general, because we need help. Like, you know, our community needs absolutely help, either when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to mental, you know, care, all of these aspects that affect us as individuals. Like, you know, we need to raise our voices up and like come together as a community. But more importantly, we need to help other people understand, because that's the only way that things are going to change in general.
However you identify, we are all in some form of transition from the day that we're born until the day that our body is dead and begins to rot. And even rotting and decaying is part of a transition. And if you're not transitioning, then you're already dead. And last key takeaway before we sign off today is you are perfect.